Redness.
We've had such a great combo without being on set.
Oh, we got to start over, right?
Yeah.
We're live so now. Don't say anything nuts.
Just keep going.
Don't say anything crazy. Because we're now live.
Start over, right?
Folks, join us. Give them a few minutes.
We are allegedly live.
We are live. I'm looking at us.
Yeah, I'm seeing it too.
We're on Twitch.
Look at us.
Yeah, there we go.
Gentlemen, we're late. But we're here.
See what happens sometimes.
I think I need to move my computer back.
Who's got us? Somebody's got us out loud.
For like,
Now, reverb.
Aha. I still hear an echo. Who's watching us on a multiple devices in this room now? I think.
Okay.
Somebody's watching us. On
Okay. Which one of you? Okay, we're gonna find out right now.
Watching us. Not me.
It is. Okay.
It's not me. It's not me.
I know what it is.
It's red. That's who it is.
My Twitch. It was all me, people. All me.
It was all red small. It's all that extra.
Jihad, unmute yourself. Thank you.
We're gonna forgive her.
Forgive me, ladies and gentlemen, because I just went through a whole technical everything. And now we're here. So let's begin.
Welcome to Bedtime Stories.
Hello. Sorry we're late once again, but I mean, this is, disco club life anyway. As my friend Lewis said, are we always a half an hour late?
Things happen.
shit happens.
It does. Shit fucking happens.
But at least we still look good doing it.
Hello.
Shit.
People changing setups and codes.
I shave for you people.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Bedtime Stories. My name is Red.
I'm Sin Rose.
We're happy that we made it. We almost didn't make it.
Yeah, we almost didn't make it.
We're happy to have our guest this evening.
Our wonderful, most gracious guests here that have tolerated all of our technical difficulties. We are super pleased and thankful and grateful to have the one and only Loft Kid Lewis and the one and only Jihad Muhammad. Say hello to the people.
What's up?
What's going on, y'all?
Good evening.
So, as you know, this is Bedtime Stories. Thank you for joining us. Better late than never.
Yes.
We probably will
it's
get
bedtime
cut off.
anyway, so she didn't do anything but laying down listening to us.
Right. And just so you know, this has been recorded. Even though we weren't on here, there's going to be loads of bonus footage to check out on our YouTube channel. Sin Rose and Redness's Bedtime Stories, and you can catch the behind the scenes chatting to some extent there, slightly edited.
We got a little deep there.
Now, Lewis, you need to move over a little to the middle of your camera.
Yes.
Okay, I'm working here.
Hey.
We don't want Boo's face. We want your face.
The dog wants to party.
Up in the camera.
How's that better?
That's much better. Thank you. So for those that may not know, my birthday just passed. Lewis's birthday just passed, making us the number ones for the week for the rest of the month.
Yeah.
So hence the
Exactly.
tiara and my sweet silk smoking jacket. That is all.
Thundercats
Going on,
home.
but let y'all know what's going on in these streets.
Nice.
So, how are you guys doing?
Very well.
Sweet.
Good. How you feeling, Jihad? He's feeling like
Jihad.
frozen.
Oh, he's frozen. Okay.
He was frozen, but okay, now he's back.
All right.
Okay.
Why don't we start with just telling the folks that are here a little bit about who you are and why you think we invited you to come tell us some bedtime stories. Who would like to go first? Don't all volunteer. I'll pick.
Yeah, pick them.
I'll
Okay.
go. I'll go.
Lewis will go.
Lewis,
Hi, everybody.
welcome, Lewis, the first baby of house.
Hi,
Tell us
everybody.
why do you think that you're here?
Well, aside from my dashing good looks and my incredible rhythm with a tambourine that I would not be playing for you tonight.
I got your back though.
Exactly. Wait, is
I've
that
been waiting
mine?
for this moment.
That is funny. So many of you know me from the scene. I've been around for a minute. You know, there was a story that I was actually born at the Loft, but that's not true. I did show up there pretty early, though, in my life. Roughly 8 years old was my first experience at the Loft. My brother was 5. And, you know, David Mancuso on a Wednesday night doing balloon parties. A little baby in a room full of balloons bigger than yourself. On the floor, on the ceiling, on the walls. They had to pull me out of there crying and screaming. And, you know, I've been pretty much in the culture ever since. My mom used to take me off and on for holidays and go to the morning. We really came in the mornings, like, you know, 8 o'clock. Until we were old enough to come and hang out from the early. We'd hang out until we fell asleep and then wake up for the 8 o'clock. And in the beginning, I was just a punk kid. Just wanted to be alone, left alone because mom wasn't watching us. Everybody else was watching us. So the Loft was a family house. It was somebody's living room. So when you went and hung out, you hung out like you were in somebody's living room. So that's where I get my first roots in terms of being part of this culture. In the last 10 years, I went from going to being at the Loft to running their whole production in terms of setting it up. I've become a stagehand, so now I do it for a living, setting up other people's parties. But my passion is our activism with the House Coalition. In the beginning, we were one of the biggest protests against the cabaret laws in New York City that prohibited small clubs from functioning as a dance venues. So bars couldn't have people dancing. And we were basically became the biggest protest for that. We've become, you know, the cabaret laws were abolished and it's legal now. And, you know, between the Loft and the dance parade and my activism and to try to perpetuate this culture for us and my family, which has grown into exponentially in the last 15 to 20 years. You know, I find people who love it as much as I do. And together we go out and throw parties because we need to dance. And anybody who does it like we do it knows that passion. Nothing can stop it. COVID, Republicans, darkness of night, snow, winter, rain, whatever it happens, we'll figure it out one way or the other and then, you know, get to be a family again. And one way or the other. This way for now, you know, alt until later. I think that's it for now.
I love that answer.
That's a great introduction to yourself.
Great answer.
Thank you.
It was. We had a great conversation about House Coalition last week. I look forward to some more of that.
Yeah, it was rough this year not having a parade. Because, you know, you put so much,
it was weird.
You put so much energy into a thing, and then it's like that whole void of what it was, the months leading up, the money, the energy, the getting supplies together, planning it out, and figuring out who's going to be where to what. I mean, I not only did our float I used to set up from like 7 in the morning. I go to the park and start blowing balloons for the festival that happens at the park. And with a cart, push the shit to the grandstand and set up another sound system over there and decorations. Then push to the float. And I catch my whole crew there ready to, Louis, what are we doing first? You got to
And the
see me
balloon.
switch the hat, and you're like, all right, let's do this. All right, everybody, what's up? And keep everybody, you know, what we do is it's its own art form. It has its own life. And it means nothing without the people there, but it also has to be the right people there. They're the ones that make it all happen, and it makes the energy perpetuate itself. It's a ball that rolls down the hill, and as it picks up momentum, you don't even, it's contagious. Strangers come up to us and they're like, where have you been all my life? I'm like, we've been here. This is our 15th year doing this, dude. You know, it's our 10th year doing this. You know, when I calculated the first time I've ever been to now, it's like I turned 48 this year. I was at the Loft when I was 8. That's longer than most people's careers. And I can still do it, keep on dancing, and now I'm throwing that party. So can't wait till we can say, hey, did you get your Loft letter? It'll happen. It'll happen. I have faith.
Now, those who know what that meant.
Well, they will one day.
Hmm.
I'm
No,
going to pass that puck.
you there, other guy.
Yeah.
DJ Muhammad. May have heard of him. It's kind of a big deal now.
Yeah, I'm
Please
famous.
tell us why you think you're here.
Well, I think I'm here because you guys asked me, and I I just so happen to be free tonight. Nah, you know, um, it's funny. You know, I'm from Jersey, of course. Everybody knows that. You know, Jersey was the forbidden land, I think, for a lot of New Yorkers. You know, back in the day, it was like, man, I'm not going to Jersey. You know, so I
More
think,
like, how
you
are we
know,
getting home?
yeah, everything closes at like 2 o'clock, right? So we had to carve out a little niche for ourselves over here, you know. So you know, we had clubs like Zanzibar and Docks and, you know, all these other places that, you know, were our legendary clubs. So and I got to meet um, some good mentors from that. Naeem Johnson, Camacho. I used to roll with Camacho everywhere. I think I was like
Love
Camacho's
Camacho.
chauffeur at one point, you know.
We all help Camacho, man.
And I think that's where I kind of, you know, I kind of used to see Red a lot at those parties back in the day, you know, when I was just kind of
Jersey?
like, no, in New York, when I used to
Oh,
take
in New York. That
Camacho,
sounds right.
yeah, when I used to take Camacho back and forth, you
Oh, yeah.
know, it was always load the crates in the car, go to Red Zone or Kilimanjaro's or Wild Pitch or one of those. After the party's over, take them to White Castle, you know, and then we'd do it like, you know, the next day. So, you know, I used to just go to his house every day, practice, and fast forward, then, you know, Shelter opened up and I used to hang out there. And I didn't know you guys back then. I just used to see
Which
y'all a lot.
shelter?
Yeah, Hubert Street, the first Shelter, and then the second Shelter. I didn't go to none of those temple parties. I wasn't feeling
Oh,
that.
people parties. Well, it's good
Yeah.
to be some people because, you know, we the kind of people who be like, we need receipts. I don't believe you were there.
Yeah, I
Wow.
know.
She
Yeah,
called a
yeah,
card on you right there.
yeah.
It's a flag.
Yeah, I wasn't a temple dude. You know, I was more like a Hubert Street, and I wasn't really too much of a 39th Street dude. I was more Hubert Street than anything.
Yeah, Hubert was my favorite.
Yeah, that was my favorite.
But I had
But everybody,
some good times at 39th Street.
yeah,
The rooftop.
I don't remember a lot of it, but I know I had a good time.
I played Hubert Street and I played 39th. And
Yeah, I was there when you played Hubert Street.
yeah, yeah. Actually, I played with Naeem Johnson, as a matter of fact. And we had a good time tonight. But yeah, that's why I'm here. I think, being around those guys, they inspired me to play. And Kevin Hedge and Josh inspired me to produce. And I think my career built from that point on. So I'm honored, Red, that you asked me.
You were on our first draft list.
We got a
Oh, really?
list of
Yeah,
folks,
you were.
and
Both of you, actually.
away. You both
Yeah.
were on our first draft list, actually. Definitely.
Oh, yeah. And
That's
of
because I
course,
could be bullshit.
and Cent, you always took care of me at Funk Box, of course,
See,
Yeah.
a lot of my receipts people don't see because I had so many looks, and then I left New York. I came back. I'll be like, there's very few people that actually remember, like, oh, Sim, but she used to have the dreadlocks and whatever.
Yeah, it took me
Wow.
it took me a minute to remember seeing you from those CUs.
Mm.
Yeah,
She's got receipts.
I got
I remember Red. Red was mean. I used to always think Red was mean.
I was what?
That she was mean.
You were mean.
She's a mean girl.
Yeah.
I'm a sweet doll.
Maybe not. Maybe to the New Yorkers you were sweet. To Jersey, he was like, yeah, I don't think she
No,
liked us.
I didn't know it was from Jersey because I was like, just, New York
Yeah.
in a bubble.
Damn.
But that's not true. We all knew each other, and no, I was not mean. I was sweet.
Nah, it's great how we all grew to know each other and to appreciate all that we do, in the scene.
I agree.
It's kind of a trip. I mean, we were all nearly, teenagers to 20-something years old with each other.
Yep.
We've known each other a minute, There are some people in your family you don't talk to that much.
Mm-hmm.
But these people that we're hanging out with, and those are your family. They become the people you talk to. Those are the ones that are connected to you, And sometimes it's just in the dark and you're screaming at them, hey, how the fuck are you? And that's what you got.
Yeah.
You don't even remember their name. You're like, hey, man, it's you. But that person, you can love them just as much as you can love a cousin.
Mm-hmm.
Not for nothing.
If not more. Because
if not more.
Connection. Yeah.
And you don't have to, we do that, and then we choose the people within the party, the club scene that we end up being close with. So it's a family.
Exactly.
In a family. People
And finding them in the daylight. That's my favorite line is, oh shit, that's what we look like in the daylight?
And that ends up happening because we were out all night till the sun came up.
Yeah,
oh, man. My God. I miss those days, though.
I have a question for you, Jihad. They said, did you go to Afterlife? This was from our good friend Letheria. Or Brooklyn Iconic. I don't want to blow up her whole government, but I
went to Afterlife a few times. A friend of mine actually from over here installed the sound system for Afterlife. So I think I went over there to help him a few times. And but I wasn't really like an Afterlife head. Back then I think I was like more Jersey. I was a Jersey head back then, though.
Right.
Yeah. Oh no! Wait a minute. What year was Afterlife, though?
I would
Now
say
you asking too many questions. Nobody knows. No one knows.
Wait, there's gonna be.
Like
you're gonna ask what years?
No, you know what? Well,
it was like 1990, maybe, in 1991.
I'm fucked.
Around.
I know I was there, but I
1991.
I was a big Choice guy. I used to like to go to the Choice. Richard Vasquez was one of my favorite DJs from the Choice, and Basil when they played there. So.
What I didn't like about the coming outside and those rats in the Lower East Side.
Oh, those things were so scary, man.
They're like dogs.
I used to stomp my feet and clap my hands walking down the streets just to make enough noise. I look,
right.
Motherfucker.
Come over here.
But I still stepped on like one or two in my life.
Oh man.
Nothing feels like a rat being stepped on. Because it doesn't, you're not really hurting it. It just like his whole body just turns to liquid and it gets flat. It's such a weird sensation.
Right, because they don't have bones, right?
They have bones, but everything is super flexible. The thing is that if a rat can get its head in, not even its whole head, just past its eyes, the whole body will fit.
Hey.
So no matter how big and fat that, it's like an octopus. It just transforms and it's in, dude. Yeah, man. And the LES, they had saddles. So the junkies were riding them in, and they're like, you know. That's funny because that was the Loft on 3rd Street. Wasn't that Choice?
Choice.
Yeah.
Between C and D, that was the Loft on Friday nights. It was Choice.
Wow.
Right? I thought so.
I want you to think whatever you want.
Right. So I have a question that I like to ask folks, but I want to hear the answer from both of you. So like I know what song, right? Like Turn Me Out, which like maybe for you, Lewis, it's a little different because you were already in clubs from childhood, right? But like there was a song and some songs that when I finally heard it on a system, it was like, that's it. This is my place, right? So I'm wondering, Jihad, first, I guess, what song would have done that for you? What is there a song that like turned you out where you were like, okay, this is gonna be it. I love this music. I need it in my life.
Let me think about that because there were
That's a
songs
bomb.
that turned me out, like just on a radio before I even got to go to the club. You know, I was a big Timmy Regisford fan, listening to him on the radio. So and Merlin Bob too. So I have to think about that. There's so many songs that just kind of gets me up. You know, it depends on like the part of the night and the early part of the night is always the hype part. So in Jersey, it would be like Chippy, like this.
Okay.
That was like in Jersey we played a lot of Chicago joints. And then in New York,
Yeah.
I would say it would probably be who was it? Two Puerto Ricans and a black man or something like that.
What was the song?
What was the joint? Do It Properly.
Oh yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Do it properly.
Do It Properly. Yeah.
Why you so
Yeah,
like
I was too young, man. First song for me was like the Double Dutch Bus, dude.
I love that song.
That song, and then David used to have this one record with Bugs Bunny and Porky Pig, and it was like a whole scenario of them fixing a broken car. But the beginning had a whole house track, then it was the whole sound bite from them, and then a house track. I would scream, David, with my screechy ass voice, please play the fucking Bugs Bunny record. Because we would only stay up till like 10 o'clock and then crash out and then wake up for 8 o'clock. Hang out till, another couple hours. And then it's like, all right, let's go to the park. My mother was poor, so she wasn't taking us to the movies. She was like, let's go hang out in the park and the beach. So, to the diner right down the block and then Washington Square Park to catch a couple more songs with her friends and comedians. And back then, Washington Square Park was bomb.
Good stuff right there.
There was a party going on in that park.
Kind of like now.
Right.
But somehow back then people were a little bit more refined. Somehow it seemed a little bit more like they were seasoned musicians. Now it's a bunch of people banging on shit. I live in that neighborhood. Not to say that everybody's not talented. That's not true. But there were definitely a lot more of that unpolished, banging away at the drums in the park. back then on a Sunday afternoon, there were good guys, there were better guys, and then there were the bomb.
Mm.
And in between, there was like shit going on with magicians and fucking balancing acts. People had cash. It was like, you know, really liquid. And you could hustle and make, yeah, you could make money just hustling. So, yeah, that was a trip. But the music wise, like I said, Double Dutch Bus, man.
I used to love that
That was the
song,
first
too.
I
one.
love that song still.
Me too.
So David on
think I was like-
Christmas, he
It was like his name. I love that song.
that was his nuts.
I think I was in the sixth or seventh grade when that song came
Yeah.
out.
And to this day,
Exactly.
any of us know what that song was about?
The Double
No.
Dutch Bus.
It was a punk.
Which is,
Wasn't it a dance?
look, I don't know. I don't remember.
I don't know.
I thought it was a
What was it?
roller skating. I think it was a reference to a roller skating dance move. And that was the move. You did like a weird bus stop, but it was supposed to be done on roller skates.
That makes way too much sense. I had never thought of that.
It took
You know,
this many
all of
years.
those-
It took this many years to figure it out. Okay.
I was today years old.
All of those songs had like those kind of crazy ass meanings, right?
Yeah.
Like,
It
you
was
know,
a
I just
simple
realized.
life, man.
I just realized what Grace Jones was talking about when she said, "Pull up to the bumper in my long black limousine." And I was like, "What the fuck is she talking about?" And then I was like, "Oh, okay, all right, I get it now."
Plain Lucy,
I might have one of them limos.
right? Plain Lucy. For those who don't know, could you tell us?
If you don't know, well, she wanted you to pull up to her bumper with your long black limousine. Now you got to use your imagination.
I mean, I've used it already. Say no more.
Yeah, well, you already know. You already know.
His kids may see this.
Hey, it's bedtime, and like I say all the time, if your kids are up, that's on you. It's bedtime.
Right. We never forget
Yeah,
those
even though there's no school.
adult stories.
There's school. There's school. Now, I have a question for you, Jihad. First of all, let me ask you something. I've had a debate with somebody about this for a long time. How do you say your name?
Jihad.
Thank you. Some people say Jihad, and I'm like, that's not how he says it. Thanks. So there, now.
There. It's on record.
That's how the Arabs say it.
Now, I have a
Don't
question
fuck
for
it up
you,
again.
Jihad. And it's from some dude named Mark Francis. And
Oh,
he
yeah?
would like to know, he says that today you have hard drives as DJs. And so you can put so many songs on your hard drives. Back in the days, he actually said back in 1990, was it hard for you to pick the right records to bring?
Oh, because I bought them all.
Exactly.
I
As
think
many
I
as you
was.
could carry.
Look, it was hard breaking down records to like figure out which ones you wanted to take and which ones you wanted to leave at home. And every time I got a crate right, there was always another song. I was like, well, I got to add this shit in there. So I took a lot of records that I really didn't need to take back then, but I took them because I just wanted to have them. As opposed to now, of course, you could have everything in your hard drive, and you got your whole fucking collection in your hard drive now. But nah, back then I took everything with me. I was like, fuck this. I don't give a fuck. I'm taking it all, and I don't care.
Did you carry it or roll it?
I carried them shits with a hand truck, but I carried them. And I lived on the third floor, and I had to take them shits out the car. It was like 3 trips. You go up, you come back down. You go back up, you come back down. Yeah.
Love.
I miss those days, though.
Yeah, man. Make you work for it.
Hell yeah, I was strong as hell back then.
Sick. I used to carry David lives in a 7th floor walk up in the LES. He's got 80-pound power amps.
Damn.
There's 5 of them. I used to carry one on my shoulder. After partying all night. Man,
Yeah,
those
that's
steps
crazy.
were evil. Evil.
That made me sleepy just now. Just listening.
My leg just spasmed. Said, fuck you.
I have a question for you also, Jihad, from Luz that Luz has asked, who do you admire as a DJ in Jersey that's going to take on the new generation to the next level?
Nice question.
Oh man.
We have a variation for you, Lewis. So
I think
I'm out
guys like I don't know, I think guys like Mark Francis, they carry the torch. That's a fucking difficult question because I have to like answer it with the understanding that, like people who are really in the scene, you know what I mean? Like there's a lot of DJs in Jersey, but there aren't a lot of DJs that are in the scene that are like really in the scene. Like they go to the parties in New York, they're known by the by the
You got
New
to work
York
both sides of the
crowd.
line.
Yeah, definitely. So there's only a few of them here. There's like a shitload of DJs here, but to take the scene to the next level, yeah, I would say somebody like Mark Francis. I mean, you got Beloved. He's doing his production thing and stuff like that, but I think you got to marry the two together. You gotta be out amongst the people, and you got to do your production. And I think Mark is doing that pretty well right now.
Okay.
I agree with you. And I think what you said about there are a lot of DJs, a lot. And this is where, I'm joking, but to a certain degree, I mean it, about receipts. Because 10 years from now, those DJs, somebody would say, so where were you? What parties were you at? And they'd be like, I don't know, but I played at whatever. Like, so you didn't go to the parties, you didn't know the people, you didn't live that life for a little bit and get to know what you were doing and why. And that kind of matters.
Right. See, the Jersey scene is different, right?
Oh, we know.
It's like this for me as a DJ. I think that it's beneficial for me to know all styles of music, not just Afro house only, not just classics only, but to know a little bit of everything. I think if I have to step into a party and I have to switch shit up, I got to know how to switch it up, And I think a lot of newer DJs are kind of just like on their own vibe, and they play for their own particular crowd of people. So when I judge a DJ, I'm looking at the type of history that a DJ can bring, musical history. I want to know, like, your DJing lets me know where you've been,
Yeah,
and
it's got to be in the style, man. People have to develop their style.
yeah.
Somebody who's watching this just Googled like the double Dutch bus. What are they talking about?
See, I'm learning people.
I have a couple of questions for you guys.
I do too, so keep on it.
Rob Bates wants to know, Jihad, what was the name of the club you played at on Orange Street in Newark?
Oh, Metro Galaxy.
Okay, there you go, Rob Bates. Some guy named Ali Coleman wants to know, Lewis, what was one of your favorite moments at the Loft? Or your favorite memories, memories.
So, like I said, I started out as more of a punk kid there. So, I got to say, probably by the time when I got to be like maybe 12 or 13, I started realizing that I liked to dance, actually. So, I remember from whatever reason, I came dressed up very disco that night. Like I had a polyester shirt on, I think. And I don't know if they were bell bottoms, but they were definitely like a little bit baggy pants. And then with us, we were able to wear our brand new sneakers that we got for Easter only to the Loft. So I had a pair of white, I don't know what the fuck shoes they were.
You had Loft sneakers. I love
Yeah,
that.
man. And then all of us, that day, I was like, what is this? Holy cow. I remember like the cap just falling off and like the bubble just bubbled over. I remember finding somebody with glasses that had these LEDs across the front. Forget about it. I danced for like 6 hours. I was sweating on the chair going, holy shit. I gave my mother the glasses and I was like, okay, let's keep going. I mean, I was 13 years old or 14 years old with endless amounts of energy and a dance floor that was like a bowling alley with a bunch of people were like, holy shit, look at him now. Because before I was just bumping into them with the damn horse. You know, get out of the way. Yeah. Being a fucking brat. Until you realize, you know, that holy shit, this is what they're talking about. I remember that day. I don't remember how old I was exactly. All I remember is what I was wearing and like forever being changed after that day. Like, this is it. This is what we're doing. There are people that are supposed to be part of the, you know, it's like the cat finding the herd all of a sudden. What? That's why I have those stripes. Oh, that's why I smile like that. Yeah, man. Throw a little baby powder on the floor. What? I remember getting a pair of Capezios, having no idea what the hell it was until I put them on. Then I was like, what? I almost killed myself a few times. You know, but the Loft floor was so soft. It took the dive and I ate the floor, but it was all right. You know. It's 14 years old, 15 years old, doesn't even hurt. It was like, okay, shake it off. Let's go, man. It was great. And then, you know, waiting and begging for her to take us again. We moved to Jersey at that point. That was a trip. We went from going to the Loft to going to Jersey. In the high school in Jersey, they had nothing. Nothing that I could relate to at all. In Teaneck at that time.
Oh my God.
And then we moved upstate after that to like Hudson County for another year in the middle of my junior year. My whole high school was a mess. It explains a lot. Let me just say. But they would have school dances, and I learned how to. I mean, I started dancing to Bon Jovi because I had no choice. They were screaming, shout through the heart, and I was like, yeah, screaming in the middle of the dance floor. I used to sound just like them. That shit was funny.
That's great.
But that's one of my favorite moments at the Loft. Also, you know, those adventures with David, some of them are really memorable. Some of them were like crazy. I remember going to his house, partying all night the night before from Wednesday to Friday to Saturday, and show up and take acid to get up the stairs because it was so hard. We were so tired. We dropped some paper. All right, let's go do this. Loaded.
We got this. We got this.
We can do this. Oh my God. That was funny. Load it in and then go home and die. And then wake up on Saturday afternoon and be like, yes. Yeah, back then I just helped. So I didn't have to do too much. At one point I took over after Nelson and it was like, okay, the stress level changed. But yeah, that place has changed my life.
Well, that actually kind of answered a little bit of a question that we have from our friend Mr. V. He asked, what was the craziest thing that you saw in a club that you won't ever forget? I'd love to hear that answered from both of you, though.
Oh, God. In a club?
Yeah, in a club. What's the craziest thing that you've ever seen?
You take that one first.
Okay, Jihad.
Oh, okay.
I want to hear the Jersey response.
Yeah, I'm about to give you, this shit is about to be Jersey as hell. So listen. You know, in Jersey, the way we partied back in the 80s was you had to be dressed up. Like, you had to be fresh to death. You know what I mean? Like
hard bottom shoes.
hard bottom shoes, silk shirts, haircut for the week, you know. And so, right before I went to college in 87, I used to work at this like restaurant as a busboy, right? Yo, you couldn't tell me shit because I saved $17, right? I had made $17 in tips. And my brother Omar was like, yo, we going to the garage tonight. So I was like, yo, fuck that. I'm down, right? So we get to the city and he hustled somebody, I guess, to get in, you know, that was my first time going to garage. So he, you know, hustled somebody, yo, let us in on your card or whatever, you know, they're like, all right, cool. And of course, that long ramp you go up, and I was just kind of like just sitting there, and I seen this girl walk past me in a bra. And that's when I knew. I was like, yo, this shit here is totally different from Jersey. Because, you know, we're so used to getting dressed up and fucking putting hard bottom shoes on and all kind of stupid shit, you know, and it was, you know, it's not really crazy, but it was crazy for a Jersey guy to see, you know, because we just didn't party like that. You wasn't going to catch no chick in Jersey with her bra on, dancing in the club, chilling, right? You know, they was fucking dressed all the way up. So for me, that was the craziest thing. And then, of course, you see more crazy shit as years go on and stuff, you know. Like I was like in 718 one time, and this motherfucker was in the corner giving another dude a blowjob, and I'm like, what the fuck? You know, just just shit you know you would not ever see in Jersey. You were guaranteed to see it in New York.
At least some variation of it.
It's, yeah. You wasn't getting nowhere near that in Jersey. Jersey's like, it's like bland. Like you kind of already know, like, Friday, I'm going to get my hair cut because we're going to the club tonight. Saturday, I got to get my nails done because we're going back out again. And Sunday, that's it. There's nothing else to do on Sundays. You know.
Did they like deny you at the door and shit if you didn't have your shit tight?
Yeah,
like in
you
the
know,
city, you had to come correct, or else you weren't getting in.
We used to come to the city to get fake IDs to bring them back over here, and you still couldn't get in because they knew it was fake.
Like, you ain't 35, boy. Get out of here.
Yeah.
Those shoes are not hard enough.
Yeah.
Well,
Hilarious.
All right,
What
well, I
about
guess
you,
my
Louis?
turn.
What is the crazy
it is
story?
your turn.
Okay, the one was a crazy story because of how it was handled and where it was and how it just continued. It kind of never really ended until like the next day. So we're at the Loft, and I don't know what his name was, but somebody had done some crazy drugs that they never used to. They did when they were younger, but they've been not doing them for 10 some odd years, and they decided to do them at the Loft. Okay, and the Loft is pretty, you know, free and outgoing, but, you know, if you can't handle your business, you can't handle your business. Anyway, he loses his shit. He starts flipping tables. Now, at the Loft, when you flip a table, it's covered in bottles. There's glasses and drinks everywhere. And when you flip it, all you have is this mess. They all grab him by fours. One arm, two arm, one leg, two guys on the legs, two guys on the arms, and they carry him out Superman style all the way out the door. They get him downstairs. He gets picked up by the bus. He escapes from the bus. They trap him into the doors. You know, if you know the Loft, they have to get those two doors in between the entrance. They kept him in there like an animal, a caged animal, just pacing back in the cage for like 3 hours. And they get him out. Oh my goodness. That was a bit pretty crazy night because he was JT's friend and and everybody knew him from the school. I was like, dude. And here I am, like, I'm high and I got to load out tonight. And I'm like, dude, collect your friend. But there have been many moments at the Loft, and pretty much all of these parties, that I've just kind of flashed back into a headset that's, I can't really differentiate the moment. It's kind of every moment is that same moment. And sometimes you close your eyes and you can tap right back into it. And for me, it's very hard to distinguish between names and dates. It's mostly faces and vibes. And you know, that one night that you guys worked me over, and that one night that I fell asleep, but I still got up and worked over again. Because sometimes you would go so hard, my body just turns itself off. I would be standing in the middle of the dance floor, hand up, tambourine in hand, snoring, fully standing. My mother would be like, Lewis, go sit down.
Not lying.
Go sit down. No, Mom, another 10 minutes. And I would just go, then I would go sit down and get a good 20-minute nap, and bounce up and be like, what's up, yo? Let's go. But that for me has been a fantastic gift, is being able to go back when those songs hit the record and that needle drops. And sometimes it's not the same song, but it's the same headset with the same mind space. And that vibe just kicks right the fuck in. And you're 20, whatever year old back then, screaming at the top of your lungs, sliding into fucking second base. And thank God for this shit. It's been the one thing I've missed the most. But I'm patient. That's what being old enough now. You learn a little fucking patience and restraint. And, you know, when we can come back, I look forward to tapping back into that same night. It's like, oh, yeah. That's what they're doing.
Thanks for that, Lewis.
Yes.
Jihad, I have a question for you from somebody named Mr. V.
Mr. V.
He wants to know, what was the worst gig you ever had?
One of the worst ones was in Japan. The guy that booked me to play at some club, and we got there, and the joint was fucking crowded as hell. And I started playing, and everybody left.
Oh, damn.
And I was like, yo, what the fuck happened?
Oh, damn.
And he's like, oh, I'm sorry. You know, they wanted to hear hip hop and you were playing house, so they all just left. I was like, oh, shit.
Why you tell me?
Yeah. I said, this motherfucker set me all the way up in Japan, yo.
I got hoodwinked.
Yeah. Yo, that shit does something to your confidence. You like fucking...
Yeah.
You fucked up for the rest of the night. Like, you know, like...
Clear the room, dude.
Yeah.
Damn,
Not the whole club was cleared.
How many more dates did you have after that, or that was a hit and run?
I had like one more date after that. And I said, is this a house club or what, motherfucker?
They want to know if you get paid.
Yeah.
You're bringing both stacks of records. Fuck that.
Like, I would hate to have to fuck you up in Japan because, you know, this shit ain't cool, man. For real.
That's rough.
Damn.
That's
And like, if you're home, you just roll back on your homies, but you know they're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
Right.
You can bomb out the whole place, but your boys will stay. Your friends. Yo, what's up? It's all right.
Yeah.
Man. They be yelling at you. Yo, it's okay. You had an off night. I love you still.
I know you can do it.
Yeah. I had nobody to console me or nothing. I was all in my feelings for the whole night.
And then it's like the Japanese rigidness. Not for nothing. I love them. but that whole expression of emotion is rough sometimes.
Yeah.
You know, nobody's crying. Nobody's really, they kind of just pat you on the shoulder. All right, man.
Well,
They're not smiling or nothing. They're just looking at you and shit.
Mr. B said he
Exactly.
can relate. He had a similar gig in Portugal. So,
Who?
Mr.
Mr.
B.
B,
Really?
he can relate. Yes. He had something similar happen, apparently. This is a thing.
Wow.
That's wrong.
That's so wrong.
It happens to the best of us, you know.
I have 2 questions. I'm actually going to ask yours first, Jihad, because it's simple. I think it should be a simple answer. What was the first club you got to play at?
Oh, a club in Jersey called
Everything is
Clubby.
Jersey.
I was Jersey. I was Mr. Jersey.
He's Jersey proud, yo.
That's
Love
right.
Jersey.
That's right. That's right. Clubby Clips was the name of the spot.
Okay. And now, Lewis, this might be a loaded question. How would you, D. Bradley would like to know, how would you describe the evolution/journey of the Loft over the decades?
Mm.
Wow. Okay. Shit. All of the decades? Shit.
I mean, you can make it a short answer. You can just envelope
Anyway,
these thoughts.
I can speak of so the Loft has always been somebody's house. Yes, it's not quite that now, but we're working with what we can get and what we can get, the best dance floor that we can find. And the fact that we have that much ceiling space, we can put up as much art as we like. There's no parties in New York that are doing that. I mean, a lot of people do work, for sure, but we hang up $85 balloons and we pop them at every party. We pop like 3 or 4 of them. There's the entire budget for the balloons. So it's like that. But we're always striving to do more and make it a little bit better than it was. But the central vibe of what it is hasn't changed that much. We try to make it as cozy as it possibly would be if you were throwing a party in your own living room. We're not bringing couches in that place. Not going to get that comfortable. But, as comfortable as possible, as warm as possible, as dynamic as it can be, and just try to essentially be what it was before, as close to as an analog system as we could play, the nicest needles we can find. We constantly readjusting the cement to stabilize the turntable so the records don't skip. But in terms of it changing, it's changing to try to survive. And David kept it a certain way, and it's always been a time. It's a time capsule. It's definitely a bubble. When you walk in there, you can be somewhere else. And whether or not it's going to change more, absolutely. Are all these changes going to be easy to swallow? Who the fuck knows? We'll get there when we get there. And then we'll do that. But it's just tried to stay essentially the same thing as it's been as far as long as it can be that. And the way David did it, we're trying to do it as much as we can do it without him here to tell us for real. This is all hearsay and memory. And not for nothing, if you're really close to David, David had a different story for every person. He would tell you one thing and you would speak to someone else and they would tell them something else. And then you'd find out really what the plans were. So we all kept on our toes and kind of just danced around it and made it happen. Same thing we're doing now.
That's just wonderful. It is.
I'd like to, before we get cut off on something, I'd like to just give you an opportunity to tell us a little bit about what you have coming up, Jihad, and if you have anything coming up also, Lewis, or anything that you just like to share with the folks that are watching that is like, hey, don't miss this because I think this is
Mm. Well, for me, I do um, a online radio show every Monday on House FM in London. I've been doing that for a while, and then on Twitch every Saturday, I do Bang the Drum sessions from 6 to 9. Um, of course, since COVID is kicked in, you know, had to try to stay busy somehow. So um, keeps me on my feet. Actually, this Friday we have from Friday to Sunday we have the Tambor Tribe Tambor Cruise online party. Um,
Well, that's cool.
yeah, so that's going on the whole weekend. That's the little virtual festival since we couldn't do the cruise this year. So that should be dope. And then
Are you gonna fuck with people and like run footage of boats and shit in the background? Do the beach shots and shit? Give everybody like complimentary cocoa oil and shit?
yeah. And then we have I'm doing somebody's like birthday party on the 12th of September, and then Charmaine Bourne is having something. I think she lives in Long Island, I guess. So I'll be doing something with Will Milton and T Groove and Ceres.
Nice.
Some like social distancing shit. So
All right.
yeah,
Bumping elbows and shit.
yeah. Yeah. But really, I it's like I haven't. It's funny because I haven't played for people in like close to 5 months. And sometimes I don't know if other DJs have gone through this or they think about this shit, but then you think like, damn, when I get back in front of the people, am I gonna be like a little off? Am I gonna have to kind of feel out the vibe again, or can we just pick up where we left off?
The answer is yes.
Yeah.
I hope so.
You know what? But the second record is already clicked over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Muscle memory.
Yeah.
Once you figure it out, you're like, okay, but here we go.
Yeah, and you might just go in hype as hell and be like, yo, fuck this, I'm gonna just play,
Would you say that you
Right.
don't feel like people's energy like in a chat if you like are going in? I mean, I know it's not the same because
Mhm.
just
No,
not
it's not the same.
right. I know that. That's not really the question, but more so like if you're, let's say you're on a Zoom where you
Mhm.
see folks. Have you played on a Zoom?
Yeah, I did a couple of Zoom parties. Yeah.
So were you able to like feel some of the energy of folks from a Zoom, or was it
You know,
basically like still like doing an IG where it's like, okay, I'm doing what I do and I know that people are feeling whatever they feel, but you know.
to be honest with you, the Zoom party I did, it was like this. People were like,
Oh.
'cause they're sitting, it's like
Right, they're sitting
we're
like
sitting there. Yeah, motherfuckers is laid, they laid out like this. So I'm like, what the fuck is this? So I actually feel more energy when I do Twitch and I don't see the people because sometimes it's like, yo, the Zoom party was meant so you could see people dancing and they fucking eating potato salad and shit. So I'm like, I don't want to do Zoom no more. I'll just do Twitch, and in that way I'll set a vibe for myself where I can actually see the comments popping up on the board.
right.
And I actually get more feeling off of that than I would at a Zoom party. So
Okay.
Yep, that makes sense.
yeah.
I mean, or you do both. If you do both, that way people can see each other and you don't have to be a part of that. But some people just want to see each other,
Right.
But that's not necessarily good for the DJ.
They should have a no parking on the Zoom floor party.
Like,
Everybody got to be like this, or turn your fucking camera on.
Yeah, turn your camera on.
Wow.
Louis, anything that you got that you would like to tell us that's coming up, or
I've been out of the loop for a minute. I'm kind of hiding out upstate, so in terms of any of that, when I do show up, though, I probably plan on doing some kind of underground block party somewhere, a big ass block.
Well, I had a question for
But
you from Curvin Mark that was asking about why you decided to, what made you decide to start to DJ, Lewis?
me,
Yeah, that was from Curvin.
DJing for me has never been like, it's only to throw a party. I love my own records just as much as anybody else loves their own records. And it's because I want to hear it on that sound system. You see me when I play, I'm jumping all over the room. So I'm in the middle of the room. I'm back behind the thing. I don't put anything in sets. I just pack my bag of records with records that I like. And I'll spend the whole night digging, and I could probably organize them better. But part of the fun for me is digging and putting them back wrong and then having to go back the next day because I'm not playing like you guys are playing, you know. I play for a party for myself. My friends like the way I play, so that's why we all get along. And they come over and they'll yell at me too. Hey, man, too bad you had an off night. But usually I'm having such a good time that I could care what the fuck they got to say. But just so I could hear the songs that I like on that same sound system. I usually do my best to set it up as nice as I can set it up, whatever available. So if I make the effort to make the sound good, I want to hear some of the records that I like to hear. Because some people, you know, they're a little progressive. Some people are a little bit, you know, a little high when they got there. So that's why I like to open. So that way I can just throw my shit on, start with a little intro, throw my shit on. I know I'm set. All right, man. Have at it. I hope you just took the puck and running with it.
Well, I've got one more question. You can give the short version of the answers to this. This question is for both of you from this guy, Curvin Mark. Curvin Mark says, what's the most memorable club experience, which includes music, DJ, everything, and it must be a moment, meaning not what you saw, but a moment for you, for each of you. Jihad, since you're on the screen, you go.
Repeat that question again.
Okay. What is the most memorable club experience for you that includes music, DJ, everything, and it must be a moment, meaning it's not what you saw. It was your moment.
Okay, well, your moment. My moment was being at Shelter, being in the booth with Timmy, way off to the corner, because you know how he was, and
is.
But you know, I had the opportunity to just sit in a chair and watch him play. And I think that watching him play influenced me on how to play records. And anytime I went to the Shelter and I was allowed in the booth to sit there and watch, I always just sat there and watched. I wasn't really a dancer, of course, as you guys know, right? So, but I just used to go just listen. And the best way for me to learn was to actually see it happening in real time. And so I got a chance to do that. Now, not to make this answer long. So there was one night when Timmy was away and Freddie was on and he was fucking up, right? And at the time, yeah, we love you, Freddie, but you was fucking up that night.
Yeah.
And
he was having a bad night, brother. He was having a
yeah,
bad
he was having a bad.
Exactly. We still love you, baby.
We still love you, but he was having a bad night.
And I was dating Mercedes at the time, so she was like, "Yo, fuck this, get your coat, we out of here." And I'm like, I don't feel like it. So they went up to Kevin and they was like, Kev, this is some bullshit. I don't know what the fuck Freddie doing. They was real raw with it,
I totally see this.
And he was like, what do you want me to do? And he was like, yo, you fucking got Jihad right here. Let him play. I'm like, oh shit. So they put me on the spot. But because I used to be in the booth all the time, I knew where Timmy's records were. And so I played for I think I played like 2 songs, and Freddie came back and was like, nah, fuck this. You got to get off. You can't be playing. And they kicked me out. That was a memorable moment too, because I was like, oh, Freddie hating right now. But
where were you? Because I feel like I was there for this.
Oh man. I don't remember the year. I don't know where Timmy was. He might have been.
But what club was it?
Hubert Street.
Okay.
Yep. I got on, Freddie kicked me off, and then we left. We said, fuck this, we out.
Enough of that.
Yeah.
Enough of that. Out of here, God.
Yeah, but that's a good. Remember that time I played at the shelter on a slide tip, just like
Yeah.
throw him in, coach.
Right, because later he officially played.
Right.
So,
That's funny.
So Louis, you?
What about you?
Your moments?
There's a couple, but this one is one that stands out. Like you, but I get to go while David was playing and run the lighting board. Now back then, that lighting board was just dimmer switches, on and off switches, and like turn dial dimmers. So you gotta like push it in, and that's how you work the fucking lights. So here I am, like, I don't know, 13 years old, and David's like, do the lights, Louis. I was like, okay. That was the most fun I ever had on the lighting board. I remember the thing falling apart and the switch is not really working all the time, and the dim, you had to like really push it in. At one point I was just banging on the fucking like, Louis, all right, thank you. Go sit down. But I had a ball.
They bring it.
Exactly. With David playing, he's doing his side step. I remember him saying, oh, you did a great job. Because he was one of our surrogate uncles. I mean, he loved my mother because she was my mom. And she was young back then. So those fucking gloves and shit, that's how she rolled all the time. She's been doing that since forever.
Gloves, that's legendary right there.
And, thin and small. She used to have T-shirts that would cut into like napkins with all ripped and messed up. I remember coming back from the loft, the clothes stink like cigarettes and baby powder and just be sopping wet in a plastic bag. It was like, don't touch those clothes till Monday. Don't go near the bag, please. But
well, Louis, I have to say about you. You were talking about balloons earlier, and Louis taught me. I was on a balloon crew with Louis for quite some time, and Louis taught me how to tie balloons really, really fast, and the skill to, because it's not just simple. And so when we do the House Coalition float, when Louis is out there putting up all the other sound stages and everything, I am one of the heads of the balloon crew. And I'm like, people out the way, like, you don't know how to tie. You don't know you're going to hold this whole thing. You're going to make us play. I got this. You put these on strings. And like, it's a whole thing. And I actually am so grateful to you for that, Louis, because it's a skill now that I will always have. And
you're good at it.
I am good at it. I'm good at
it.
tying. I'm not good at any other parts of it. And tying is the hardest part. So, but on that, because my birthday just passed, I had these handy just to say, happy birthday to you, and I love you so much. And you are my friend.
That was sweet. Thank you. I love you. And
I love you too, Jihad.
I love you too, Red.
I just want to say something to whoever ends up watching this. Keep the faith. This culture has faced adversity before. It just takes an adjustment in how we approach it. We all should be safe and all should make sure that no one else gets ill and just do our best to make that happen. Everything it's going to be different for sure. It can never be the same. Why? Because it's no longer the same place. There are many things that have changed. This is just one of them. And we adapt or we die. So I'm planning on living for a very long time and making my mark every single time that I can. You know, keep the faith, be careful out there, and we'll see you when we see you.
And
Have saved the day, y'all.
You're right.
On that note, I think that is just a perfect way to say goodnight and this bedtime stories, unless you had something else, Red.
I don't, because Louis just said basically what I try to say every week, which is watch out for dummies. That is all. It's out there. They're out there. Just watch out for dummies so you can stay safe.
And they'll mess you up anytime they can. I love you guys. Stay safe.
Love you too.
Love you. Love you both. Love you all. And this has been, I guess. Wait, Jihad, do you have any parting words?
Yeah, I can say some shit.
I mean, you don't have
listen. No, I want to be honest and say that this has been a different time in our lives. We've never experienced anything like this before in our lifetimes. And coming from the Jersey side, I've had a lot of people pass away that I knew personally on the DJ tip, on the club owner's tip. You know, one of our dear friends, Lawrence, is gone, and so that really hit home. And like you said, Louis, when it comes back, I think it's going to be full of a lot of love. I think we'll appreciate each other even more, especially the people who play the music, and the people who dance to the music. We need to appreciate each other a little bit more. And, because we're here today, gone tomorrow. This is just how it's been for the last 5 months, So I want everybody to be safe as well. And I just hope that, like I said, when this is all over, we come together in the spirit of love again, There's certain parties that I can't wait to go to just because I know that, like a Danny Crivet party. It's just like so much love in that party. You know what I mean? A shelter party is so much love in that party, And I want to see my people again. I want to see, people dancing and smiling and having a good time again, So those are my parting words.
Well, thank you for those parting words. And now, ladies and gentlemen, this has been Bedtime Stories. And she is
Sin Rose, and she is
Red. Thank you for being here with us this evening. And if you're watching this on the rerun, thank you for watching.
Thank you.
Back next week. I don't remember who we have, but it's fun. It's all fun. It's always fun. So just come back next Tuesday. We'll try our best to be on time. These technical glitches, but we did it. We did it.
We did.
And
thank you so much, Jihad and Louis.
Thank you.
Good night. That was a lot of fun. Good evening, Jihad.
Good evening.
And good night.
Good night.
All right, y'all.
All right. That was awesome. Thank you so much.
Okay. Woo!
It's officially over.
Good job, Ray.
It's officially off the air. That was awesome. Each one of these is always special, just in its own way. And I'm so glad we had this time together.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yes.
Guys, it was good.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thanks for your time and your energy.
Tonight,
oh, boo. Good night, boo.
The link once it's published up on YouTube if you want it, so you have it for your own posterity.
Cool. All right.
The family's asking. All right, y'all, be up. I'll see you on the flip.
Bye, Louis.
Okay.
Love you.
Bye. Thank you, love.
See y'all later.